Hello everyone, thanks for joining us today. My name is Matt Scherer. I'm with PMA Practice Transitions, and I cover the Ohio and Western Pennsylvania area. And I assist dental professionals with buying and selling practices. And my colleague is?
Hi, I'm Joe Gordon. I do exactly what Matt does. I just do it in Indiana and northern Kentucky. And today we're going to talk about staffing as it relates to buying and selling practices. Years ago when I first got into the accounting business, I learned a phrase that you could not say the word personnel without the word problem associated with it. And that still holds true today. But when we talk about staffing, we need to look at what we have in place when we're going to sell a practice.
Somewhere between 22 and 28% as it relates to your collections should be your percentage of wages for your staff. Wouldn't you agree with that?
I would absolutely agree.
Are you overstaffed? Are you understaffed? Because that could play in a factor in a buyer getting a loan as well.
Without a doubt. We run into situations where either a practitioner has cut back their hours, cut back their days, but has not cut back the cost of their staffing, and it causes that percentage as a percentage of gross revenue to creep up exorbitantly.
Yep.
And we've also ran into practices that have trouble attracting people.
Yep.
Some of the urban practices today have a hard time finding qualified people to fill positions. So we see it from both sides. And then if you're thinking about selling a practice, it's a good time to go through your staffing and see if you have the appropriate people in the appropriate places. The two most important people in practice are your receptionist. Without a doubt. They're the first person usually somebody sees, and the last person, and they know everything about your patients, probably more than you do. And the other are the hygienists, because they spend so much time and have so much conversation with the patients that you want to make sure that those are two great positions there. If, for instance, your spouse would be the first point of contact for someone coming in the office, and when you retire, they're retiring with you, that may, it may be a good idea to get somebody else in to make that transition work a little better for a buyer.
That's a fantastic point. In fact, I had a dentist who I spoke to, and his front desk person wasn't his wife, but she said, "I'm retiring when you retire." So my suggestion was, listen, it might be a hit on your personal cash flow for a little bit for the next year, but go out and hire somebody, get them in there, train them, so that the patients see that face, it's a familiar face, so that way when you do sell and your front desk person does retire with you, the other person can step in. And that extra expense is going to be added back into the cash flow anyway, so it doesn't hurt the deal or the value of your practice per se. I think another big thing is taking a look at associates. Many people, when they talk about staff, think about front desk hygienist and assistants, right? They don't look at the associate if there is one.
Right.
Most important thing when you have an associate, or if you're going to hire an associate, is to have an employment contract, number one, and in that employment contract you should really have a non-compete. So that way, if you sell the practice and the current buyer does not need that associate to help out in the practice, they don't go down the street, open up a practice and start taking patients.
It's a great time to make sure that whatever attorney you're working with is familiar with those and can do that. Matt and I work with a number of them across the Midwest, and would be happy to help you find one.
And we could go on for probably another hour about talking about staff, but certainly if you have questions or want to have a conversation, give Joe or I a call. We'd be happy to discuss it. And if you like today's segment, give us the thumbs up and be sure to share with your colleagues and friends. Thank you.